Number 1. Appropriating Black Culture. Penthouse Season 3. Things recently went downhill in the widely popular series Penthouse. And it's less because of bad writing, but rather due to its total insensitivity in character design. In particular, a new character called Alex Lee was recently introduced, all covered in large tattoos, gangster clothes, and speaks in an accent that sounds like an imitation of Black people.
Why don't you answer my goddamn question first? What'd you do to my brother Logan?
The most controversial element, though, actually lies in his hairstyle. Alex was wearing dreadlocks, a style of hair that was developed to help Black people maintain their coily natural hair. In the past, this hairstyle was frowned upon and considered as filthy and delinquent. Black people are thus forced to straighten their natural hair to avoid discrimination in their daily lives. Even the name dreadlocks used to be an insult, a way to call the hairstyle dreadful, showing just how hard it is for Black people to be themselves. And yet, with hip-hop on the rise, dreadlocks is now trendy among people who want to look hip and cool. Black people, who once had to give up their culture to fit in, are thus enraged to see something they once suffered for become a trend for the exact people that outcasted them. Now, what Penthouse has done is not simply stealing a Black hairstyle. They also paint the character with this signature Black style into a delinquent, willing to threaten people and do criminal acts. This is a downright racist stereotype that many Black people are suffering from, and just not a good move altogether, according to international viewers. To make matters more ironic, the cast of Penthouse themselves once joined an anti-racism movement, and Park Eun-suk, who played the controversial character, used to live in the US, and therefore should be aware of the matter. Thankfully, the production team and the actor both realized their wrongs, and thus had apologized and promised to atone for their mistake. But frankly, this is not their first time. Backstreet Rookie, which was from the same broadcasting station, can be said to be even worse. Now that we understand the meaning of dreadlocks to Black culture, it's easier to understand why this character in Backstreet Rookie is a downright racist portrayal. The offending guy this time is introduced to the viewer with a shot of him naked, wearing dreads, and living in a dirty workroom drawing naked women. And as if this is not insulting enough, he proceeds to pick a fly out of the dreads, a subtle way to joke that dreadlocks are dirty, which was wrong, by the way. It paints a picture of a gross guy who has nothing better to do, and tries to convince the audience that the guy in the dreadlocks is vulgar and filthy. Another scene has this same character dancing with a Black man, claiming that they are Jamaican brothers, despite the other man explicitly saying he's from Nigeria. So Backstreet Rookie not only managed to call Black people filthy and perverted, but also lumped two African cultures into one single quirky dance.
Do Korean think all African do this?
And if you think this matter is not bad enough, then consider this. These episodes were aired as the Black Lives Matter movement was on the rise as a way to protest the terrible violence inflicted on Black people. Talk about timing. Number 2. Mocking other Asian countries. Racket boys insulting Indonesia. Yes, racism is a serious problem in Korea. And it's not only about Blacks, as Koreans tend to look down on Southeast Asian nations as well. A recent case in point is in Racket Boys, a drama currently on air that can be found on Netflix. It's all boyish charm, decent jokes, and follows a badminton team trying to resurrect and achieve their dreams. So we had high expectations. Until things went sour. Again. In episode 5 of this charming slice of life, the character Seyeon went to compete in badminton in Indonesia. It was pretty decent, at least until the coaches gathered to shit-talk on the host country. First, they complained about Indonesian people having bad manners and booing at foreign athletes, then went on to say that it is not the first time. Then they moaned that the rooms were a mess, and that Indonesian athletes got decent practice rooms, while the Korean team has to struggle in run-down courts with no air conditioning. And finally, they accused the country of doing all these terrible things to win against the Korean team, as if Indonesians have no sportsmanship. In response to such a controversial scene, many audiences expressed disappointment, claiming that the series had heavily degraded their country. The Instagram of the broadcasting station also became filled with netizens asking for apologies, and the event even popped up on Indonesia's local news. SBS has since posted an apology for the mistake, claiming that it didn't mean to degrade a certain country, player, or spectator, and promising to review the next episodes more carefully. But the show's rating on IMDb still dropped to 1 out of 10 following the controversy, and the angry stream of comments still have no sign of stopping. Modern Farmer, insulting Vietnam. A scene from the SBS drama Modern Farmer, which features Lee Hong-ki and Kwak Dong-yeon, was also accused of slamming the Southeast Asian country Vietnam, especially the women there. In particular, a dialogue in the series had the mother convincing her son to stop drinking, saying,
"If you keep drinking every day, even if you go to Vietnam, you won't find a bride."
What? The scene was considered extremely disrespectful toward the women of Vietnam, as it suggests that even Vietnamese brides, believed to be the easiest to marry, will not accept a drunkard, the lowest of men. Korea has always treated Vietnamese women as goods, as poor women from this country are often sold as brides to middle-aged Korean men that they have never met, and suffer high chances of abuse. Even educated female Vietnamese students were treated no better, as one city in Korea tried to implement a sexist and racist movement to matchmake these students with Korean farmers without consent. The line from Modern Farmer had thus made Vietnamese netizens absolutely furious. And the response was so intense that the Korean consul in Vietnam had to order SBS to apologize. In response, the broadcasting station had sent the Korean embassy in Vietnam an email and public apology to the hurt Vietnamese people. While a wise gesture, considering Korea's track record of looking down on Vietnamese brides, we never know if this is the last case in tow. Number 3. Insulting Islamic cultures. Another racist issue often spotted in Korean dramas is the indirect mocking of Islamic cultures. In Miss Hammurabi, the female lead was seen wearing Muslim clothing in a mocking way, and the male surrounding was absolutely terrified in the process.
생각한 것보다 훨씬 더 또라이인데.
NBC's Man Who Dies to Live was also a complete mess with its portrayal of a fictional Arab kingdom. In particular, a Korean man became a successful count in this Arab land far away, and was offered 3 beautiful Arab princesses to marry. The man's house was also full of Muslim women wearing hijabs with bikinis, and an advertisement was shown saying, "Buy 1 princess, get 2 for free." In this case, the tone of stereotyping and racism was as clear as day, and many internationals had called for a boycott of said drama. While NBC did eventually release an official apology, it did nothing to ease the ire of angry netizens, who called for the cancellation of the drama altogether. So that's some among the many cases of K-dramas being blatantly racist. But along with them, there are many out there that have managed to bring diversity to screen in a respectful manner. We hope that the K-dramas in the future will have learned their lessons and bring consideration onto the screen. What about you? What's your opinion on racism on the Korean screen? Don't hesitate to let us know in the comment section. And if you want more videos like this, like, share, and subscribe to bbalidrama. We'll come back soon. See ya!